Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and this one's about Farts and Fairies. Farts and Fairies is as the box says, an outrageously epic card game for the survival of the fartist. So Farts and Fairies is a game for everyone, ages 8 and up. Takes about 20 minutes to play, 2 to 6 players. Pretty quick, fast-paced card game from Dan Matthews with art from Gabriel Cunnett. This game will be the butt of many jokes, in a good way. In Farts and Fairies, players are going to be utilizing fairy cards, fart cards, action cards, and survival cards to hopefully be the player with the smallest fart bank account. You're going to hear me say fart bank a lot, so I had to get used to saying it. You got to get used to hearing it. It just is what it is. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So, Farts and Fairies, let's prepare for the release. So these are the components in the box. You have a rulebook. You have a nice healthy stack of cards comprised of fart cards, survival cards, action cards, and fairy cards. And then you have the Farts and Fairies adults only expansion deck, which continues the ever topical poop and butt humor, but also maybe adds some genitalia and some other things, making it adults only, I guess. But there are some interesting mechanical differences that are introduced in the adults only expansion. For example, the Hairy Godmother card, where it says every player can send a fart bank card to your fart bank. Oof, that's rough. The adults only expansion also offers some shart and queef, which allow you to have some other adjustments to your fart bank that are not available in the base game. So that's what comes in the box. Let me show you how it plays. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, you have 4 different types of cards. You have fairy cards, survival cards, action cards, and of course, you have fart cards. So there's 2 types. There are 2 types of fairy cards. You have a fart police card and a fairy dust card. Fart police basically means that somebody tries to direct a fart card towards you. You can put out your fart police and it protects you from that card. The fairy dust card is actually like a wild card. It can become any other card, including a fart card. So if the fairy dust becomes a fart card, it's the worst one for the person that's played on. Best for the person playing it. It becomes worth 5 fart points. So it can become any card, which is nice. Survival cards, you have divert, meaning if somebody sends a fart card in your direction, you can divert it to that same person or any other player. Pretty nice. Martial farts. Reverse, that it is what it is. Whoever dealt it, that sort of whoever. And then you have a reverse, which is sort of a whoever dealt it, smelt it and dealt it. It goes right back to them. So if only, right? And then as far as the action card, you have swap team, which lets you swap hands with another player. Beans, baked beans. Discard your hand and reload with the same number of cards. You're just kind of getting it all out. Occupied. You can you can force another player to skip their turn with the occupied. I already mentioned swap. There are multiples of these. As far as the Fartomic bomb or the bomb, there's only 2 of these, I believe. But with fairy dust, you can become any other card. So that's pretty slick. This is very key, especially in the standard game, because once somebody sends a fart card your way, if you're not able to deflect it, divert it, use the fart police to stop it or what have you, it stays out in front of you, and you just have a cascading stack, I guess, of fart cards. And as I mentioned later, the numbers on them are bad. You want to have a very low fart bank number. So the bomb allows you to get rid of one of your fart cards. So let's say you had these. Let's say this was your fart bank. You're going to want to get rid of that 4, because you get rid of that 4. Now you have a fart bank total of 6 instead of 10. You want to have the lowest fart bank total to win the game. You have protection, which means nobody can play any fart cards on you until your next turn. Number 2s, you can pick up 2 cards from the deck and steal a random card from any other player. I'm not sure how the zombie thing fits in, but this is a game about farting. So who am I to question? Who am I? Who among us? I'll stop. And then of course you have fart cards with various art on them. There's more than these 4, and they're going to have a value of 1 to 4. That's why I mentioned earlier that the Toot Fairy, if played as a fart card, becomes a 5-point fart card, which is, that's bad if you get that placed on you. It's good if you get it in your hand, but you don't want to fart in your hand anyway. That's the whole thing. So 1 through 4, and like I said, these are just, you just stack them out. Everybody can kind of see what your fart paint looks like, and you want to manage it. You want to keep it small. You don't want to let things out when you think no one's paying attention. That I've said too much. It's probably also worth mentioning that the game ends when you're out of cards, meaning the deck is depleted, and any fart cards that are still in your hand still count against you. Good luck. Shall we play? Okay, so we have our deck here, player 1, player 2, player 3. The game begins, everybody gets 8 cards, and on your turn, you can take 2 different actions. You are going to draw a card, you have to do that. Then you can either play a card or draw another card. I believe your hand size limit is 8. If you end up having more than 8 cards at the end of your turn, you must discard. So, player 1. Wow, I have a lot of survival cards. So, okay, I'm going to draw a fart card. I get to draw and I get to play. Now, I'm not sure what everybody else has, so we could just start, let's just say, hey. Okay, so let's start off by playing a 3 fart card on player 3. Now, it's not player 3's turn, so they're not going to draw a card, but they get to respond. So they are going to play the fart police. They're not really sure about who has how many survival cards, so they're just going to try to play it safe. They play a fart police card. That means this goes nowhere, goes into the discard pile. Squashed. Player 2's turn. They're going to draw a card. Okay, let's see here. Oh, they have 2 fairy dust cards. That's pretty good. So they don't have quite as much green, but they have 2 fairy dust cards that are wild, so they can be anything. So they're going to play a fart card on player 1. So player 1 is going to say, no, you're not. They're going to play a reverse. So then player 2 is going to play a divert. They're going to divert that fart card over to player 3. Now player 3 is in here now. And player 3 is going to play a divert. Let's just put all these over here. So let's say the divert was the last thing played. So player 3 is going to divert that back over to player 2. Just going to look at their hand and say, Now they only have 2 more of these left. So, and they're not sure how many survival cards anybody else has, because you can get into a back and forth battle over these cards. So let's say they just want to just end it. So they're just going to play the fart police. It gets played on no one. Player 2's turn is over. All right, player 3's turn. They're going to draw a card, and they have absolutely, wow. So they only have 7 cards. So instead of playing a card, they're going to just draw another card. Oh, okay, well. Yeah, but they have a nice defensive hand, but they have nothing offensive. So also they could make someone switch. Back over to player 1. They are going to draw a card. They're just going to play protection in front of them. So it means until their next turn, no one can play any fart cards against player 1. So player 2 is going to play a steal. Okay. And they are going to randomly steal a card from player player 1, because they had the audacity to do a protection, thinking that they were safe. How dare they? So player 1 is going to shuffle their cards up, and player 2 is going to randomly get a card from them. Let's see what it is. Hey, look at that. That's a nice one. Player 1 is probably going to be a little bit salty about that, but there you go. All right, player 3 is going to draw a card. Discard your hand and reload. Yeah, I don't want to do that though. All right, so even if you have a card, you can still draw another card and then just discard one. So a divert card is better than reverse because the divert can also reverse. It's a little more flexible. So they're just going to discard a reverse. Back to player 1. I'm going to draw a card. Wow, I swear I swore I shuffled these cards. Okay, this goes away because it's back to their turn. Wow, they have nothing, so it's gonna draw another card. Oh gosh, another green. So much green. Player 2 is going to play. They're gonna draw a card, and they're just gonna draw another card. So, player 3. Do I have too many cards here? Wow, I have way too many cards. So they are going to get rid of a reverse because I don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Did I draw a card? I don't remember. So I'm just gonna draw a card. Hey, far card. Get rid of these. And okay, so they're gonna play this far card on player 2. So, just for example's sake, so player 2 is going to use a reverse, sends it back over to player 3. Player 3 is going to use a reverse to send it back over to player 2. And then player 2 is going to use another reverse to send it back to player 3. Player 3 is going to use another, they really don't want this, another reverse to send it back over to player 2. And just for an example, obviously player 2 is equipped, but this is all they got. So they're going to divert it, but use the diversion like a reverse to send it back to player 3. And then player 3 is still pretty healthy here with cards. They're going to reverse it one more time and send it back over. Now this is only a 1 card. You probably wouldn't do all this. And let's just pretend that these were blue cards and they didn't have anything else. Then now this card would stay in player 2's fart bank. And dang. And that's that. And then we back over to player 1. So that's the flow of the game. Is you can definitely get into these battles where you're just throwing out reverses and divert cards in order to not have things be in your bank. But ultimately, towards the end of the game, you're gonna have hopefully not too long, but a stack of these, which is why it's important for you to get the bombs so you can remove it. You're not sending it to somebody else. The bomb allows you to just remove a fart card from your fart bank. But like I said before, if you have fairy dust, these can become bombs. They can become any card. There's any card. So, which is nice. So people can, smell what you're cooking, but you've walked away so you don't smell it. That's called strategy. You say what you need to say, and you remove yourself from the scene. You dealt but never smelled. Okay, I'll stop. So that is a basic flow how Farts and Fairies play. Like I said, it goes pretty quick. I mean, you're playing cards that have fart puns and play on words on them. So it's, you're laughing and Granny Fart and Fart Monster and Marshall Farts, Pop Officer. A lot of Fart Monster in that one. Let's see what else we got here. Baked Beans. That it writes itself. Fartosaurus. Jar of Yeti farts. Like you do, Toot Fairy. Doggy Turd Burger. Ugh, gross. Da Vinci the Fartist. And Tour de Fart. Princess Fart. And Fartichoke. Ha ha ha. You want to abandon this fartichoke. So this is Farts and Fairies. It should be up on Kickstarter shortly. Description. The link is in the description below. And this game is pretty much relatable and playable by most. We can all relate, can we not? So Farts and Fairies, pass those fire cards, deflect those farts, release yourself, unburden yourself, release that tension and play a fun game. Farts and Fairies. Link in the description. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. Take care. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe. Consider others. Be blessed.